Good morning and welcome to Tarot Time, where we give you the energy update and the forecast for the week ahead. And if you're watching this as a video, welcome. I'm just adjusting my camera a little bit. All right. So happy Sunday, everybody. Happy Tarot Time. If you're watching this on a Monday or Tuesday, happy Monday or Tuesday. And what we're going to do is do a meditation card, a 3-card spread with the tarot. And I've got other divination tools that we can work with. And there's likely to be a lot to talk about. There's a lot of changes going on. There's a big reset that's happening around the world. I think energetically, some of the things that are happening is that people are kind of getting used to the craziness that's going on and coming into some kind of a new flow or a new energy or new way of dealing with things. So the idea is, and I'm going to say a few quick hellos in a second, is to, firstly, let's be in our heart, let's be in our power, let's not freak out about things. And as I'm seeing so much going on in social media, like all the memes, like left wing, right winged, and all this stuff, while everybody's really focused on hating our current administration here in the U.S. or defending them, what else is going on in the world? And I think that's what we have to kind of let some of that stuff not go, but put it aside and see what steps are being taken. Like, is the AI networks being built? Are there, facsimiles of iRobot being introduced? Is there, other motivations for tariffs and other things that might benefit certain parties at the detriment of others? And at the end of the day, everything's resetting, and I think we have to be aware and obviously make plans and to be understanding what's going on in the world, not to just have our heads in the sand, obviously, but at the same time we've got to stay in our hearts and not be overly reactive or allow what's going on. It's a lot of psyops that are going on because fear, anger, as well as guilt and shame are ideal ways to control a whole society, and bringing a lot of conflicting information and stuff like that. I can't think of cognitive dissonance and all that stuff, keeping everybody confused and off guard, and therefore more easy to control. So let's stay grounded, stay rooted, stay in our hearts, and let's make a positive difference, in your communities here on the Medium channel. And things are going to reset. The economy will reset. It may get worse before it gets better, but things are going to reset. The awakening is still happening. Ascension is still happening. And sometimes things have to fall before they come back up. So we're going to get to some tarot in a minute. Let me just say some hellos. Hello, Felicia. So yes, there's a lot of activity in the earth with the tornadoes, with I think there were 2 major earthquakes last week, I think. Yeah, big tornadoes, big long track EF3s, and maybe some EF4s also. Yeah, it's been an early start to the it's been an early start to the severe season. We talked about that in some of our forecasts in the Market Angel. What's going on in between the worlds? That's the name of our company. What's going on is that on Tuesday, that's the day after tomorrow, we have a mediumship event on Zoom. That's maximum of 10 people. We haven't really advertised a lot, so not a lot of people are signed up for that. And then next weekend is the retreat, the mediumship and channeling, and mediumship channeling, aka trance mediumship, trance healing retreats. We're all going to learn how to connect with our guides, our loved ones, for ourselves and others, as well as how to do things like send energy and things like that. So that's going to all be in the Catskill Mountains, where I live, about 5 to 10 miles from where I live. So it's going to be beautiful. So welcome everybody that's new. So Katie will be on the mediumship event Tuesday. If anybody wants more info on anything going on with Between the Worlds, I'll probably get into tarot in a second. But since you asked, I'll just post my If I have that right. No, that's not right. So I'm also been doing. Oh well, hello Victor. I didn't mean to do that, but hello Victor. That's my email. So if you want to get more information, uh, hello Tracy's in. Victor, hi MDR. I wanted to go to the tree. The time isn't great for me. Who is going from here? Yeah, if anybody's going from the New York City area, let her know. Felicia's had to sell shelters. He doesn't have a ton. Well, I'm glad you guys are okay. That's awesome. So hello, Mr. Floyd, aka Josh, Mary, Tracy, Chris, welcome. Truth Wave, welcome. Yolanda, hi, Claire. And who else? Hello, Michael, welcome. And Jay, Melissa's new. Well, welcome. If anybody's new and you want to say hi and where in the world are you from? Please let us know. Hello, Arcane Tarot and Heavy Metal. Welcome. Haven't been in the chat much. Well, that's okay. We don't need to be in the chat. So hello. Wow, you've been really a lot of comments here. Hi, Carla. All right. My focus is on the economy. Yeah, I'll try to do a little research. Thanks for sending me a few things, Michael. Also, maybe the next couple of days I'll have a little bit of research. You may see some white roses behind me. That's because my brother's memorial was yesterday. He had passed in mid-February, so he did a memorial in Providence, Rhode Island, where he lived. And I got home very, very late. So I'm a little bit cloudy this morning, just like the weather outside. So we have his roses. So we're honoring Tony, my brother, this weekend, and live in Red, Tennessee. Yeah, all right. Northeast New York. So good. So we've got a few new people on. That's great. Blindly Inspired in Germany. Welcome. All right. I know I missed a few. Of your comments, and people were commenting on the economy and everything. Courtney from Alabama. Welcome. Thank you, Laura, for that. It was a smaller service, but it's very, very nice. Very peaceful. His energy was there, and everything. Thank you. So I don't know what's not funny. See Melissa. Anyways, so I see you guys are having. You live in Red, Tennessee. You're from Alabama. All right. So what we like to do is start out with a meditation card, and we'll get going into some tarot right away. It's interesting. In my mind, as I've got my eyes closed, I'm seeing like tunnels with red lights. Not sure what that means yet. Let's see if they can add to that. It almost looks like there may be things that get sealed off in different states or something like that, where you can't go into some state or something like that. So not everything that comes up for this week is going to be this week. It may be a couple weeks. Incidentally, on that note, as I'm preparing to do some tarot, next weekend we're gonna be at the Shift Fair in Oneonta, New York. If anybody's in the central New York area, it's an annual fair that's the only real big public event that I do these days. And I'll be doing a class in Saturday, I think noon, 11 a.m. or noon, on everyday things you can do to connect with your guides and loved ones on the other side. I'll be doing readings there, and I'll be part of a 4 or 5 mediums doing messages Saturday evening for like a gallery group. That's Oneonta, New York. It's called Shift, SHIFT, and that's going on. So the reason I mention that is there's not going to be tarot time next Sunday because I'm going to be working, and then we'll do one on Easter. Probably half of you will be on, and most of you will watch the replay. But I'll do one Easter morning because I'm home. And then the following week, no. Next weekend's the retreat. So next weekend is the retreat in the Catskills. Then Easter Sunday I'll be home, so I'll do tarot time. Then the following weekend is the Shift Fair. That's at the end of April, and I won't be doing tarot time then either. And Inversely, the full and new moons happen to fall on the weekends that I have events. So we'll do the forecast, but I'm not going to do the channeling for the full moon or the new moon. But what I am going to do in its place is do an energy transmission on April 22nd for Earth Day. So that'll be on the channel also. As we get closer, there'll be more information for you guys. Okie doke. So back to pulling a meditation card, and I'll peek at your comments again. We'll see how the conversation goes this morning. In my mind, I'm also seeing a lot of wolves, and they can represent they're the packs, but leadership and teachers also. So I think there's a lot of new spiritual teachers. Some real, some not. Some better than others, obviously. But I think there's I've seen like a bunch of them, and I think Spirit's saying there's like kind of a new team in a way, like that may be showing up on social media or doing talks or stuff like that. As the world continues to get more divided, we are on paper, anyways, or for everything that we can see, we are kind of heading towards I won't say world war, but at least a global conflict where a lot of lines are being written in the sand and different alliances are forming. Of course, as we often remind you that what we see on the surface is largely a show, at least the broader strokes of what's going on, with politics, world politics, and that. And then when you go behind the scenes, there's different allies, there's different things that are going on. There's things that are kind of set up in order to move society in a certain direction. And from where I'm sitting, that direction would grant more power to the elite or the globalists and take more power from us, basically. Again, what I was saying in the beginning, while everybody's really fired up. From what I hear, the demonstration yesterday, other than huge traffic jams, were largely successful. In the day or two, I'll catch up with what was going on behind the scenes, if anything, with that. But and it's great to have a voice and to express your views and everything. Nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, try to be grounded and be in our hearts, because then when we're expressing our views and taking affirmative action, it's coming from spirit, it's coming from the heart, not the reaction to being scared or frightened or angry about what's going on. That's usually inappropriate action that doesn't get the job done, basically. So when we're in the heart, we're in the eye of the storm, we can be observant and aware, and we can certainly feel the effects of what's going on, but we don't have to be not swayed, but taken by it, if that makes sense. And I think that that's a really good place to start. And then, do what that will, to get your voice out there, basically. But while all the stress and all this tension keeps building, I'm interested in what's going on behind the scene. Is there going to be new digital currencies, new, movements to, eliminate paper currency? What else is going on? The whole AI network is being built. The agenda, what is it? A Stargate agenda, which appears to me, I don't have enough information. Most of us don't have enough information to know for sure, but it appears to be part of a globalist agenda. Though I know a lot of you would debate that the Trump administration isn't part of the globalist movement or is countering it. But I think the thing is to stay in our hearts and keep an open, broad view of things and see how all the pieces fall before we make our final assessments. And the reason that I say is that we don't have enough information is that virtually all lines of information, news, alternative news, is corrupt now. And some of it's funded by those of right-winged agendas. Others are funded by those of left-winged agendas. There's this big movement to divide and get everybody divided, segregated, angry, more easily to control. So what else is going on? Stargate agenda. That would be part of that would be using mRNA vaccines that were originally, from my understanding, developed in cancer research. And then from what I understand, and again, this is highly debatable because, again, information lines are corrupt, but it's debatable because apparently since around maybe 2014, 2016, that they were starting to be tested on coronavirus. For what reason? I don't know. And again, I can't say I'm 100% sure that this is just kind of things that I've seen from various sources that seem better than others. But the point being is that's going to be part of that with using AI technology to combat cancer and probably other things. Some point in a week or two, I'm going to do a video on amazing inventions that I see rolling out in the next year or two, mind-blowing things that are coming that have huge potential, basically. So there's that. There's changes of currency, the economy. There's the wars. There's probably things I'm missing. But the thing is, stay aware, but don't try not to get like. I'll put it this way: if you feel like angry or upset by something, take a deep breath, go back into the heart. We're allowed to have human emotions, right? It's what we do with them that matters. And stay in the heart. So anyway, I'm gonna peek at your comments for a second, then I'm gonna dive into the tarot. I promise. So Dan Five 92, welcome. Hello Tracy. You do a few of your comments too. Okay, not every year, but when my kids were growing up, and my birthday landed on Memorial Day, I told them that there was a birthday. I love it, and there was, yes. Oh, did they shut down Russell Brand? Interesting. I mean, you could say what you want about Russell Brand. I mean, I don't know what to say about that stuff, but I do appreciate that he does speak out against global corruption and all that stuff, and has articles from different lines of information, different alternative news to back it up. So I like that part. I mean, if he did do anything that he's alleged, then yeah, I'm not exactly too thrilled about that. So anyways, a lot of hi Dan, hi, welcome from the UK. It's probably in the evening there, right? And have to all the birthday people, what you resist persists. That's very accurate. Thank you, Josh. Speaking of which, I know a few of you have YouTube channels, including Mr. Floyd's Universe, which I encourage you guys to check out and branch out in our extended community. He's doing things virtually every day on this channel that are really very, a lot of channeling work and a lot of community stuff. Now, April's a busy month. I think May I'm going to start to do some guest interviews again. I've taken a hiatus for a long time from that just because everything else is like really, really busy. All right. Anyway, let me go to newer comments. Yeah, happy birthday. Oh, so he's still on Rumble. So I think we're talking about Russell Brand. So he's still on Rumble, but they took him off of. And man, I have a 50-50. I like watching, but on the other hand, yeah, I when I watch him, I could see something. I'll just leave it at that. It's just intuition, even the first time. But again, I like what he presented and the point of view that he presented, we have to understand he's also challenging the globalist agendas and the corruption and everything. There's bound to be pushback. Again, if he's guilty, then that's atrocious. If he's really guilty of what he's accused. As I'm told, I feel like Spirit's saying that's more in his past, and like MDR was saying, there is a little bit of a dark past, but anyway, let me turn the pings off here. All right. So back to tarot, as we promised about 10 minutes ago. So let me just ask Spirit. I'm seeing a little dog in my mind too. So I pay attention to the spirit symbols that come in, because dogs, it's like the dog in the Fool card. That's like the allies, our helpers, man's best friend or man and woman's best friend. So we have, I think it's a reminder from spirits that we have help in our spiritual realms, and to keep our heart open. When we bring our heart open in gratitude, appreciation, and love, this is according to Greg Braden and others, then the brain comes into vibrational coherence also, and then we achieve coherence with spirit. So I teach a lot of spirituality, obviously, most of you know that. And time and time again, I'll say, it's not hard. It's very simple. That's why people don't get it sometimes, because people are like, that's it. There's got to be more, but no, there isn't. It's it's been proven scientifically. If you can get your heart into vibrational coherence, and what does that mean? Simplicity, right? What do hearts do? Are they angry or fearful? Well, they are when they're out of coherence, but then they're in coherence. They're loving, right? Compassionate, grateful, right? So you hold those emotions, you bring the heart, you raise the frequency of the heart back to coherence. The heart's stronger than the brain, but they're connected. Science proves that now, but the ancients knew that thousands of years ago. Then they become into coherence, but the brain's coherent too. And then you can have a clear thought, you can have a clear understanding of spirit and energy, and be able to transcend all the programming and understand who you are better. And when heart and brain are in coherence, and you're coherent with spirit. And that's where it starts. So a lot of meditation practice starts by just breathing, getting relaxed, getting present, getting the thoughts out of the way. I'm getting to tarot. Getting the thoughts out of the way, just being present. And it's almost like when I find that energy, the present, when I'm not in my thoughts, my vibration raises, I can't help but to feel grateful and compassionate. But then I charge those feelings in my heart, and I feel a head rush, and my brain locks in, they blend, and then all of a sudden I'm more connected to my guides, my angel, spirit, and divinity. So let's all do that. Start by grounding, though. Build that lower triangle. That's been, maybe because we're coming up to Earth Day, maybe that's a kind of a theme in my mind. You have to have the lower triangle strong to fully open and balance the heart. So if your root chakra is weak, or your sacral chakra or solar plex, or if they're overactive, conversely, then the whole system's out of balance, and you can only work with the heart so much. So get grounded with your root, do some lower chakra work, and then your heart work is going to be so much stronger, as our Vedic teachers taught us. And by the way, it's Yoga Month on Spirit Mind Family. That's our Patreon group for anybody that wants to dive deeper into what we do on the Medium channel and do frequency channeling on the next level that I can't necessarily offer to the general public. It's a paid platform. You can join for free, but the good stuff is paid. But it's only $5 a month. 2 channelings per month, exclusive content. All right, so clearing my mind. Every time I clear my mind, new thoughts come in. That's why we haven't done the tarot part yet. This is our meditation card. Ooh, top card. We will do the top card. Interesting. So as we go into your meditation, you might want to ask your guides, what are these rods that I'm carrying on my back? And this is you're connected to older age, right? The figure here, is gray haired and everything. You're kind of like me, a little older than me, but it's more like the age is more like position, power, prestige, honor. Basically, it's a very honorable energy here. But the way we talk about meditating with tarot, like any other meditation, get grounded, get centered, get relaxed. You can go into a meditative state within 10 seconds. If you just take a deep breath or two, inhale, love and light, exhale, release, relax shoulders, chin and cheeks, and forehead. You can relax these 3 principal points of tension and stop your thoughts. You don't have to go through a long process. You can go into a receptive, light trance, light meditative state, within seconds, basically. So if you want to go a little bit longer, get relaxed. Then in your mind, you step into the card. It's the 10 of Wands or the 10 of Rods. And because you're present, and in your mind, you step into the card, you feel a different energy when you step in, because you're stepping into a different reality. It's a portal. There's 72 different portals in the tarot, basically. The 10 of Wands is one of them, and they all have positions on the tree of life from the Kabbalah. Each of the cards has a position in the Kabbalistic tree of life. So you step into the card. What's the energy feel like? Maybe you see things that aren't this is like the narrow doorway to a whole like new reality. So what else is in that reality? Maybe there's mountains in the background. Maybe there's a parade. Maybe there's people protesting. But But then when you go in, you may find your guide or put the questions like, what burdens am I carrying around? Now, the thing is, we're going into a new vibration. That's why things on the earth are so dicey and changeable. That's why certain politicians rise to power, other ones fall. It's all a product of energy, and energy is a product of our collective consciousness. So everything's really in a lot of turmoil because we're shifting into like a new vibration, new earth, you want to call it 5D reality. The proverbial split that teachers like Dolores Cannon talk about, it's very palpable to me, and it does feel like we are energetically splitting, and what that means, because we won't know the difference, right? It's like life will go on as it is, even if we're in one reality, and branch of humanity stays in another reality. I mean, again, we're interdimensional. There's no time. That all time happens now. So all these things are possible, and quantum physics kind of explains how, through different laws, how these things are possible. But anyway, back to the point. The point being is that as we go into the new earth, into a higher vibration, you just can't take the energies of the old earth with you. It's not a vibrational match. So this is the time that you've got to clear all that old stuff. You have to do that collectively and individually. And you can say each one of these wands or rods represents something that you may be holding on to the past. It could be a series of traumas that you don't even remember because it got suppressed. And when traumas or other things get suppressed in the subconscious, they don't go anywhere. They go within, and they carry a vibration and an energy, and you attract what's a vibrational match to whatever you're suppressing in your life. And then we wonder, why do the same things keep coming up? But it's different, maybe different faces, different places. That's the same cycles over and over again, just because it's the same energy that's locked inside. But now it goes beyond like psychotherapy and all that stuff. It goes more into energetics and spirituality. And you absolutely can have this old earth stuff and expect to ascend to a higher frequency. So this is the time to understand what are these burdens that we're carrying on our back. What do we need to do to release them so that we have a lighter load so that we can ascend? So this is a good exercise for us all to do this week or the next couple of weeks. So anyway, on that note, let me peek at your comments for a second, then we'll do a 3-card spread. So thank you. So Yolanda, what burdens are you carrying? Let them go. You're on the right track and you're almost home. I love it. Thank you. And Tracy, let me bring you back. This is why we all live in and have our own reality and truth to us. I respect that. Mine doesn't make yours. Yeah, I used to accuse people of having selective memory, which is wrong, until I knew better. It's like they're remembering what they remember in their reality or their universe. I'm remembering when I'm remembering my universe. Doesn't make them wrong, doesn't make me wrong. It's just we see it in a different way. We experience it in a different way, and we kind of meet, our universes kind of connect. So 10 of Wands. Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to. Where did the 10? Oh, here we go. 10 of the move on energy, up to you to decide to depart. You are authorized to move. And 10s often and carry a little bit in the tarot, a little bit of an energy of authority also. And it's like the completion, even though 10 reduces to 1 in the numerology, it's a new beginning. It's kind of like a completion in the tarot. Oh, all right. Good comments, everybody. And Mary saying, not, absolutely not all experiences are lessons. I'm living one, so believe me. Sometimes stuff just happens because another person's free will. So would that not be a lesson also? I mean, in my mind, it is. I think it's a matter of semantics. I'm not arguing the point. And then Tracy kind of says the same thing. Experiences are labels. Unless one labels them, there is no good or bad. There are things we prefer more than other things. Gain the learning from experience, right? That's great advice. You guys always have a lot to say. And I know I'm missing a ton of your comments, which I'm sure the only lesson is to leave it. So that's a lesson, right? If that's the lesson, to leave something, then do it, right? All right, let's do 3-card spread. So we'll see what else we can pick up on the week ahead. And you know, there were we said it was the hands off marches yesterday. I think there were 1,400 of them or thereabouts. We got the numbers. I think they said somewhere between like 2.5 and 3 million participated, maybe even more. A lot of people, you know. In a more enlightened world, when we do ascend and all that stuff, yeah, people will have more of a say in what governments decide. Basically, you know, there'll be at least that's what I'm seeing, that there'll be more interaction, yeah, with the public and everything. You know, right now, at least the appearance of things, it looks like an oligarchy, but it's looked that way before the 47th president stepped in, to be honest, to me anyways. But you know, the Constitution of our country, for the Americans, really powered by the people for the people, right? It's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, we elect our officials, or at least on paper we do. Feel like Spirit saying, no, you elect your officials. It's just that there's so much propaganda, there's so much steering of you know, waylaying at people's emotions, forcing them to choose a different side or whatever. And then there's also the other stuff. But anyway, I think my cards are mixed up enough. Moving right along. So I've got 3 cards. Let's see what they are. Okay, it's kind of interesting card. So we have the 3 of, coming into the week, it's the 3 of Cups. It's kind of like a little bit celebratory, kind of a blending of energies, different thoughts maybe coming together. Maybe there'll be some agreements. I'm hearing like trade agreements. I know we're kind of in a trade war that's not well understood. You know, the structure of tariffs and duties and stuff like that around the world, and you know, what the U.S. has been paying or whatever. You know, we see a lot of stuff from one side or another, but I think this is showing, you know, certain countries getting together and maybe working out some agreements. You know, with you know, our president or whatever in your lives, because you know, this is an energy update also. So this is kind of picking up on the energy, yeah, that may be happening in your life, in your community. And this could be like some of you may be having some meetings or some social events or some reunion, or just kind of getting together with friends or community to try to plan strategies. I think people are planning, you know, when the next rallies are going to be also, and next demonstrations and everything. The 2 of Cups of the Age of Swords reverse kind of makes me feel like some things may come out around midweek that may kind of sour people's views, whether that's of, you know, the president of the United States. Now there's other things that are going on. I don't know if the new Canadian Prime Minister is being selected soon. I mean, I know Carney's in now, you know, who's a banker basically. Is sort of, you know, I think he's the acting prime minister. So that could be part of this. Yeah, I get a little bit of a hit on King Charles not doing so well, but I think he's still dealing with cancer, I believe. See, I don't have a lot of time to know all the ins and outs of what's going on in the news with politics and stuff like that. But I think in our own lives, you may be, you know, coming up to yet another decision or another time of having either cut ties with somebody or end a friendship or a relationship or stuff like that. As people, well, I feel like it. I feel like they're saying that, you know, some people are just not handling things well, and although we want to help everybody, we have to identify like who's really reachable and teachable during this time, and who's, what's the right words, who is able to they don't have to agree with you necessarily, but able to handle things, for lack of a better word. You may find that people, because they're programmed into fear-based thinking, you may get gaslighted if your views are different or whatever. So I feel like spirits, take a stand, absolutely, but being in your heart, be in your power, so that the stand that you're taking is coming more from your higher mind rather than the reactionary ego, basically. And and I think but right or wrong, I think part of the message is that we need to stand up for what we believe, but to be open, because I may have a belief, but then I may hear something or see something next week that could change that belief. A lot of people are unwilling to do that because that fear of change, like our survival instincts, almost try to make us cling on to beliefs even if they're false, because that level of change the subconscious has a hard time dealing with, because it's harder to survive the unknown. So we have to recognize that our own egos are getting in our way also sometimes of our own evolution and growth. So I think what they're saying is, assess everything, whatever you believe, and keep working with that, but be open, basically. And if people can handle it, well, we're not here in a popularity contest. We're here for us to grow and ascend and survive what's a bit of a scary time for many people. I think other parts of this is that I think as the week goes on, that people are finding that what's been going on as far as like certain social services being cut, for example, and things of that nature, that it's really starting to hit home, like the effects of things. And then I think we start to see maybe some of the higher prices or whatever, if it goes that way. Until it happens, we don't know. I think I feel like Spirit saying, with the effects of the tariffs, like some things will go up, others won't. It's kind of like it's a big deal, but a lot of people are making too big a deal of it, if that makes any sense, because it is a reset. It does affect our lives, and it does affect a lot of things in our lives, but at the same time, things are always changing. Think of the Great Depression, World War II. We can even go back 5 years. Think of COVID, what we went through, and how we had to change a lot of our lives and had to give things up and adapt to a new routine and everything. In other words, we can do it. So I think that's part of the message there also. But what are you guys saying here? So thank you, Tracy. Yep. Sorry, what is best serving you? Probably shouldn't stand with it. That's a great way of putting it. I saw a few times. Very open, kind, honest, and sensible. And thanks, Yolanda. I've had I have my emotional outbreaks too. But then I get into my high vibes again. There's nothing wrong. We're emotional beings. There's nothing wrong with it. But the idea is we don't want to stay stuck in those lower emotions. Back in school sociology class, I never became part of a mob. Good for you, Karen. Mob mentality. Yeah, and we see what mob mentality can do, right? Hello, blindly inspired. Welcome home. Very good. Politics divide us. Yeah, that's part of their job. The media's job is to direct the thinking of the masses. Politics' job is to divide us, to make us weaker. One of their jobs, anyways. All right, let me do a Native American card next. So we have other divination tools to work with today. So we're talking about like getting angry and emotions a lot. You have to understand, emotions, it's energy, right? E and the word motion, energy, emotion. And when different frequencies affect our physiology, we release different hormones in the body. That's the endocrine system. So emotions are basically hormones in the body. Anger, it's survival. When we get angry, like really angry, like in rage, the hormones that surface give us that superhuman power for a moment. Basically, I mean, it's an important part of our human survival instinct. What we want to do, stay in the heart and be aware when we're angry. That way we're in spiritual warriorship, and we don't cut off our connection to spirit, because that's what these lower emotions can do. They can cut us off from our divinity. Then we're in purely survival mode. We're just hyper vigilant on what's going on in our body and our environment, cutting off from the reality of spirit, basically. But if you're able to stay in the heart, these hormones, these emotions can actually make you more aware of divinity and spirit, more aware of your guides, because they want to help you. Because it's, it's combat, it's battle, survival. They want to help you with that. So what do? We meditate a lot. We open our hearts. We raise our frequencies regularly. That changes the physiology, changes the structure of the cells in the body. We awaken dormant DNA. Part of that is advanced healing abilities that only very few humans possess. I remember, going to, like, say, the martial arts demonstrations, and seeing the masters, like, lying on the bed of nails, and just with their arms folded. They had a few red spots on their back, but nothing black. You go to touch them, and they are sharp. If I sat on that, I would have been impaled, basically. And we have that ability. We are equipped with these what appear to be superhuman abilities now, but once humanity ascends and more people develop it. Same thing with the immune system. It's interesting. Like in our current administration, some things I like, some things I don't. But it's very extreme and very polarizing. But I like some of the stuff that's come out about like pharmaceutical ads and about making the food healthy. That's more our RFK Jr.'s influence, right? And there's an interesting thing that I saw about you think about cancer, and that we develop tumors to try to contain the cancer, but then when we get biopsied, which you kind of need to do to know what's going on anyway, it sort of ruptures the tumor and the cancer spreads more easily. These kind of interesting things that are coming out, but the point being is that we've done distance healings for people, and their tumors have shrank. I've done the healings myself for people halfway around the world, and it's not just me. Anybody that can tap into this energy and frequency can do it. I know a lot of you, like myself, love Joe Dispenza. He's brought groups together. I'm just one person. Imagine you bring 1,000 people together, and they all channel healing energy towards a group or a person. They've done experiments, and they've shown that the people do better. That's the power of prayer, right? Like in the Bible, when 2 or more are gathered in my name, I shall be amongst them, basically. Well, there's always 2 or more gathered in his name. There's me and my higher self. There's me in spirit. There's me and my guides. So anyway, I guess that's something we should be aware of, that as we develop, there's dormant DNA that it's not junk. It's just untapped for right now, at least some of it. I mean, there's different strands for different reasons, and I'm not an expert by any means, but the point being is our frequencies rise. It triggers like new awakenings, and it can be probably a lot of it shown in the DNA sequencing, how they refire, resequence when we have new energies that are coming in when we ascend, and then it opens up new gifts. So like we're telepathic, right? And that's been more in, not the news, but more in discussion. And we've always been telepathic, but then we invented telephones, right? So we didn't need to be as telepathic anymore. So technology is great if it doesn't dumb you down. It doesn't dumb down your higher senses. You think about that when med beds or similar technology becomes a reality, when we have mRNA vaccines and AI that can diagnose and heal things or whatever. Still, don't learn how to do that yourself, because then you don't need AI. You don't need whoever might be controlling those new therapies that are miraculous. I'm all for it. But I still encourage everybody to learn how to use consciousness and frequency, cultivate your own frequencies through your own spiritual practice to heal yourself and to be able to do things on your own. Then you don't have to rely on what's on the outside, right? It's good that it's there if you need it, but you don't have to rely on it, right? So anyway, That's interesting. So doctors are kind of aware of that now. That's good to hear that. Thank you, Mary. Yeah, and thanks, Carla, for sharing. Coheal Global is doing this work every day as we channel unconditional love in the field of an individual and see them whole as. Yeah, exactly right. So we'll do some of that work on Earth Day on the 22nd, basically. I've heard this name a few times. Nancy Lamont, help us on the way. That a friend of mine. Very good. Thank you. Guys have so many good comments. Hello, Colleen. Welcome. If we didn't say hi to you yet. Animal Love is here in City Island. Nice. Walking in free and about to bring Millie in and say hi. Steve Winwood keeps playing and showing up with higher love. Yeah. All right. Female Cardinal. Nice, Millie. Female Cardinals. Prayers for Roseanne. Okay. When much Roseanne saying on 8-hour surgery on my neck this Monday. Yeah. There's that a friend of mine. I don't think she's in live, but sometimes Melissa Tibbetts comes on. She's having, I think, in a week or so, she's having some spinal surgery, I believe. So I think a lot of people are having procedures. Always, when you have a procedure the day before, night before, imagine like you see even if you don't know what your surgeon looks like, kind of see your surgeon, open your heart, send them lots of love, and see that spirit guiding their hand to make this surgery very successful. And it happened. I remember doing that to get out of a traffic ticket that I was accused of by the officer of going 50 in a 30-mile-an-hour school zone, which I don't think I was, but I was accused of that. Very nasty. So I did the work the day before my court appearance. He was very nice. He shook my hand, and I got out of there paying $50. Nobody paid under $100 for their ticket. And I was accused of going 20 miles over the speed limit in a school zone, basically. So there you have it. Power of intention, power of energy, power of love, right? So what does the Native American cards have to say about all that? They have to say is Shaman 5. Key 5. I gather this is probably the Hierophant card in the tarot, because that's key 5 of the major arcana. Well, we talk about healing, right? We're all shamans. We all have the ability to channel energy. Different chants, different sound vibrations can heal. That's why we have ultrasound and sonics as a healing modality. So different chants, different sound vibrations. Why when the master teachers come through the channeling, do they do a lot of toning? Because it vibrates through your system and helps to increase the energies and can help heal. So maybe some of you need a shamanic healing. They're wonderful. I haven't had one for several years myself. Maybe I could use one too. But I'm noticing that, I don't know if they're children or the smaller people here that are kind of, sort of helping and following, and maybe they're disciples. And there's a sun in the teepee here. A lot, and the moon also. The sun and the moon are like the balance, the night and day, the yin and the yang, basically. Yeah, exactly, Mary. Love does have the power to do that, but like you said, the person has to be open. This card just popped out on its own, by the way. This is the sun card, I guess. No, this is the six of what? Oh, six of pentacles, contentment. So some of us may be getting a little bit of money or a little bit of help. So that's good. But I like the sun here and the figures on they're silhouetted against the sun, and you can see the shadow, but the shadow's not dark. The shadow is light. This is what I'm seeing. The shadow of the horse and the 3 figures on it. The shadow's light. It's almost homogeneous. It's a little darker than the surroundings. So you were talking earlier about, remember the 3 here, right? There's a similar energy to the 3 here. You're talking about healing and about community and stuff like that. So anyway, there's always these connections, right? And hello, Anthrogal. I have a shamanic healing. I know shamanic healing is amazing. Yeah. And hi, Katie. Learn to as work and strengthen new muscles as our vocals. Yeah, this when I started channeling the master teachers, I started to learn how to sing, which is amazing. I've been singing my whole life, and I can always carry a tune. I actually have perfect pitch, and I was tested in first grade with perfect pitch. So, but not able to sing. Well, I could sing, but once I learned how and how to channel the current, like the energy current through the voice, then all of a sudden my voice sounded good. I'm like, hey, I mean, I'm not professional quality grade, but hey, I can sing and it sounds good now. It doesn't sound like tinny and nasally like it used to. It sound much more rich and whole. So singing can all open the heart and the throat chakra as well as the entire chakra system. And Yogi Bhajan, the founder and bringer of Kundalini Yoga to the West, one of his quotes is the most powerful healing sound in the universe is the sound of your own voice singing or chanting. So sing, everybody, chant and feel the vibrations. It's very healing, and laugh a lot. These vibrations are very healing to the body and the mind and the spirit. So I've got Kyle Gray's Divine Masters Oracle next on the agenda. Next on the list. Hello, Carol Johnson. Horse. Oh my God, horses. Did I miss the horses? Shame on me, right? Well, we don't want to shame anybody because that's not cool. But where did that comment go? Where did that comment go? Wow. Oh wow. You guys are way too fast for me this morning. Horses are here with that card. Yeah, I didn't talk about the horses, so thank you for pointing that out. Horses are for movement, their empowerment and freedom, right? And horses are very conscious beings, as Felicia knows. And everything carries a vibration. Some things carry a high vibe, others carry lower one. We can choose what we speak and how we see it. All of it for our highest good and directed. Even the low vibes can be for our highest good, right? I don't know if that's what you're saying. I think that you are. Because we're in the physical, the 3D, subject to both low and high frequencies. So it's the wolf you feed, basically. We're always going to be subject to low frequencies. We don't have to feed that wolf. We can feed the high vibe wolf, right? And stay in high vibes, right? Millie saying, I hear you. The dark feminine archetype. That's like Lilith. Yeah, being Adam, I often joke with people. I wouldn't have kicked Lilith out of bed, but anyway, some of you might understand that reference more than others. All right, so let's do one or two more comments, and then MDR. At least someone told you. I learned one day, as they said, "Hey, I questioned this work and hope I did no harm. Now I'm aware, as I really didn't even begin." It with intention. Intention is everything, right? All right. You can, or you can do all the lymphatic exercise you want. Good. It's good to multitask, right? Are you a Gemini? No, just teasing. Anyway, this is Kyle Gray's, no, not Angels and Ancestors, Divine Masters Oracle deck here. Persephone, yeah. Persephone, Lilith, Dark Lilith, Hecate, all these, because again, dark is within the light, the light's within the dark. We shouldn't fear that. Sometimes we have to go to the underworld, and we have to bring Persephone in, right? So we got Hanuman. So Hanuman is the monkey god, right? Devoted warrior, let God's love hold you in strength. And notice, he's got or he or she's got the glowing heart chakra as in prayer. But he's got like the warrior. He or she's got the warrior. They've got the warrior look there. But the warrior's leading with love, right? So that's true warriorship, spiritual warriorship. Basically, we don't want war, but we recognize we live in the 3D that's subject to high and low frequencies, and sometimes we have to be able to defend ourselves in order to not be slaves and to defend our or to not be on the live even, or we have to defend our family. That's part of spiritual warriorship, but we are always vibrating peace, we're always vibrating love. And the way of the war is the way of strategy. The Go Shunore, the Book of Five Rings, by what's his name, Miyamoto Musashi. There's a book on the Bushido, the samurai class, and it became later on a book that Japanese business people read. It's like strategies for business also. So it's like strategies in war, strategies in business. It's interesting. It's all about strategy, right? So we assess the playing field. We know what's going on. And then we apply strategy so that we'll wind up winning. We'll wind up being safe, and we'll wind up ascending and helping others ascend also. So anyway, good message from Hanuman. Thank you. The Art of War, right? The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. It's a Dan Millman book, but The Art of War. I think I might have read that back in the day. And I love the Carlos Castaneda novels. Journey to Ixtlan was my favorite, but all the earliest ones were really good. And then Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Four Agreements, is sort of like a synopsis of Carlos Castaneda's work, which is a very, very good book that you can read in 3 hours. If you're a faster reader than me, maybe less. So it's a lot of information packed in that little book. All right, so what else? Hello again, Tracy. Hello again, Jennifer. Speaking about helping spirits cross over, I wondered if I'm doing this during sleep now. You could be, yeah. I mean, what happens when we sleep, right? We go into different levels of reality, right? When we're sleeping. And it's good for you, Tracy. See, I always ask, what does the situation serve out here to teach me? That's the way to do that. Thank you for that, Laura. Also, I took the word right out of your mouth. All right, yeah. On this format, I'm the only one that they can have a audible voice. So the rest it's a visual voice, right? But anyway, moonology. We're in between the moons, right? We have a full moon next Saturday, so we're right in between. Yeah, for people that popped on a little late because I've got events coming up, I'll do the full moon forecast, but not the full moon channeling, nor the next new moon that follows that. And instead, I'll do channeling on April 22nd for Earth Day, and then May I think we go back to more of a regular schedule that we're used to here. See, that's interesting. Sometimes gifts are blocked for safety. Absolutely, yeah. And we like weird pendulum moments. I asked why interferes. When I found out, I thought, can't do spirit work. I thought, can't do spirit work, yet I really was, just not as my mind believed as my works. Yeah, we're always doing spirit work, right? Because we're always spirit. We can't be more spirit than we are right now, right? I know it's the Libra full moon, it's my sun sign's full moon, but I'm leading a retreat that weekend, so I will celebrate. Mike and Mars still here? I think so. I think he's just taking everything in. So this is the Moonology deck. New moon in Virgo, so we'll have that, in late August or September. A time to give rather than take. So I think one of the messages is like, maybe focus on what we can give right now to others, to the world, to ourselves. We can give to ourselves as well. That's not taking, right? I think that's a nice little message for us as well. We should go. All you guys could go. And I had Yeah, just yesterday, it's like right before I was getting ready to do the memorial service for my brother, I found out one person that had paid can't do it because of a health issue with her family, and then two other people that were all gung ho said they couldn't do it. So I think there's 6 openings still, so it's likely to be a smaller retreat. But if anybody wants to come next weekend, and there'll be information when this becomes a video in the pinned comment on the details on the retreat. But mediumship channeling. So I got the sacred geometry deck here. Yeah, it felt peaceful to me. Hi, Laura, by the way. Yeah, so, Laura saying this felt very peaceful to her. Yeah, it felt peaceful to me too. Yeah, Virgo tend to be a peaceful sign, right? New moon in Virgo, kind of sort of laid back. Virgos tend to be sweet, sometimes fastidious, of course, being Virgo, but very sweet. This, well, all right, let me clear my mind a second. They brought the word dancing in my mind. I think they want us all to dance more this week. Put some good music on and shake a leg or bust a move. You could put on some James Brown, The Godfather. Get on the good foot. All right, I need to stop talking for a second. All right, I found my card. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. And your card, Soul Time. We've gotten this at least one time before. Key 40, too. 40 comes up a lot, right? 40 days, 40 nights. Do your affirmations or your mantras for 40 straight days. That's big in Kundalini yoga anyway. And what I found through Spirit is that it takes 40 days to make something a habit into a program, thereabouts anyways. So anyway, the frequency soul time asks us to allow the possibility of a new reality to emerge. Very good message. One that embraces the concept that while the corporeal body is mortal, the soul is timeless, limitless, and infinite. And sometimes when we're faced with a lot of stress or we don't know what's going to happen in the world, sometimes it's good to remember that. And a lot of us look for stability in our lives, right? Financial stability, a stable home, a stable job, or whatever. Well, what if I was to say that that's impossible to find any stability in the physical world, which by its very nature is inherently unstable? But soul, spirit, that which lasts forever, that's the only thing that's stable because that's always going to be here. So when you find that and connect with spirit and soul, guess what? In your temporary earth, unstable lives, you can create a sense of stability in your day to day through engaging in soul time, basically. So that's the message. What do we have? We have the Isis Oracle, of course. A lot going on in Egypt, right? I think that's leading to more discoveries. We've talked in various forecasts over, monthly forecasts about underground tunnels, cities, all that stuff. Of course, many remote viewers and spiritual people knew about the what they used to call the Giza power plant. I don't know if that's still, but now they're actually finding it or they're releasing the information. They probably found it a long time ago. Some of the information, anyhow. All right. And here we have the lunar queens. A lot of moon energy. Moon's our intuition, our emotions, our subconscious, our reflective natures, right? Because moon reflects sunlight. She of the celestial crescent. What I'm seeing in this card is that she's not afraid to show her femininity, but the divine feminine can be a warrior energy also. And sometimes we forget that. got that very kind of warrior like energy, almost like a Persephone or Lilith, or a dark goddess energy in a way, basically. And she's the celestial crescent moon, so she's of the crescent moon, so a lot of moons. So I think feel like I'm asking for much. I feel like, well, gather your guides, a few of your guides with you, and then journey through the darker crevices in your own psyche to help to expose them to the light, so that you understand maybe where some of the challenging patterns come up in your life. And then through intention, you can work on clearing that in your mind. You can shine light in it and feel it integrating back into your heart. And then as you're doing that, basically, that's feeding the collective, so the more people have an easier time. They showed me the sun card, like the figure with the sun. That's key 19 in the tarot, in the major arcana, which is like place in the sun. It's like like a baby, like a new beginning, like a new energy, a new awakening, emerging back into the light. And I think that that's one of the themes now, is be aware of the dark, integrate the dark, but the focus is in moving to the light, moving towards the sun. The moon reflects that sunlight, so you can get a lot through the moon energy. But once you got it, then return to the sun, return to the light. Anyway, that's what's coming through as I'm saying that. Yeah, exactly. Take what resonates exactly. Is that this comment? Okay. Oh yeah, a lot of thunderstorms around. Yeah. So hi, Catherine. Let me bring you on the screen for a second to say hi. Welcome. Yeah, they it's 106. Thanks for right, or 106. I've been on. Yeah. All right. So we just have I have medicine cards and a quick angel message. So let's see what our totem animal for the week next. Numbers have been going up and down on the thread, so I know a lot of new people are in. So once we're done, you can start in the beginning, everything that we missed. Well, it's 107 now. Yeah, we aim for an hour. Rarely do we stick to an hour these days, but there's always a lot to talk about in this changing world of ours. So I'm asking Spirit to guide me to our totem animal of the week, which is spider again. Did we get spider last week or the week before? Or I think we got spider for April when I did the April psychic forecast, the live stream. So we got spider. That's the life weaver. So it's time to weave your web. You consciously weave that web, not to get entangled in others' webs or society's webs, but to weave your own web, and know again that we are but a single strand in the great web of life. But we still matter, because without that single strand, it changes the structure of the entire web, right? So you do matter, even though a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm one person." There's how many? What is it? 7 billion people on the planet. What difference can I make? Well, you're weaving that collective web with the rest of us, so you do make a difference, basically. Ancient creator, very good, yeah. We're talking about dolphins. I love dolphins, yeah. I saw a lot of them when I was in Florida, and when I saw the dolphins, I was okay to go in the water, because I knew that they tend to keep the sharks away. But I was pretty much a daredevil. I remember one evening swimming off of Melbourne Beach, which is like the shark capital of Florida. And a couple was watching me. When I came out, they said, "Yeah, there's a 8-foot long tiger shark swimming right around." And I'm like, "I'm glad I didn't see it." Anyhow, last message from my messages from the angels deck. The dolphins and the whales. Yeah, I remember off of one time we canoed off of Fire Island. We went out about 3 miles. It was very, very calm. I didn't see dolphins, but we saw porpoises, which are in the dolphin family, and a lot of sea turtles. and we heard whale calls. We didn't go out far, and we were just in the canoe in the Atlantic Ocean. We didn't go out that far. Anyhow, Athena. And Athena says, speaking of goddesses and gods, it is safe for you to be powerful. You know how to be powerful in a loving way that benefits others as well as yourself. And what did Marianne Williamson quote say? That it's not being powerless that you fear, it's being powerful beyond measure. And that's because, with more power comes more responsibility, comes more scrutiny, and it takes a lot of courage to express our power into the world, which I'm doing. And I don't regret it, though sometimes when I see comments that are negative, I say, what the heck am I doing? Putting myself out there like this, but I don't regret it. So anyways, so what's going on this week? Well, anybody wants, and I'll just put my email up for a second. We're doing mediumship readings on Zoom, maximum of 10 people, so that everybody gets the message. Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern time. And if you're interested for details, just email us here. And then we have the big mediumship and channeling retreat happening in the Catskills, but there's still openings for that also. The 11th through the 13th, basically, over the full moon energy. So it's going to be very powerful. You can learn new techniques in connecting to your guides and your loved ones, as well as giving messages for others. So I think it'll be very, very good. Hello, Zan. Let me see if I can pronounce your name. Zanina. Welcome. And anybody else that got on late, or if you're new, and there's my email. If I got that pass, once we end, or you can go back to the beginning now if you want, but once we end, you can watch the whole thing. This was a good session today. A lot of good information came up. I think the bottom line is stay in our hearts, stay in our power. That way, we don't get freaked out by what's going on, but rather we can have a clear head and come up with clear intentions to help ourselves, our community, and make a difference, so that the transition from the old archaic earth into the new enlightened earth doesn't have to be so dicey and so horrific for so many people. We can ease the transition more just by assisting in raising consciousness, because that'll help others do the same. So anyway, thank you, everybody, for being here. Love you guys, and we will see you next time. I'll have a live stream probably Thursday night, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday about the coming full moon energy. So it'll be a full moon in Libra. So that can very much tap into legalities, law, what's going on in society, because it's a cardinal sign. It's false balance. So anyways, it's going to be an interesting one. So have a great week, everyone. Again, no tarot time next Sunday. Taking a week off because I'm leading a retreat. And then we'll be back on Easter morning if anybody wants to come in on Easter, if you're not at Mass or with the family. And of course, it always uploads as a video when we're done, so you can always catch the replay. All right, love you guys. Oh, thank you, Catherine. Please hit the like button and subscribe. And if you subscribe, more of our videos will come up on your homepage. And if you like that helps to get this out to more people. In YouTube lingo, it's called engagement. So the more engagement, the more right. Not everybody does Easter. I do my Easter prayers basically. But right, not everybody does Easter. Yeah. So I know there'll be people live. I know you guys will come in. Thank you for all your comments and everything you guys had to say. Even if I missed a few things, thank you for sharing. See you next time.